Hey, are you going to read that new R.F. Kuang book?
Probably not. Babel wasn't for me. I got a lot of books I want to read, and I'll pick it up later, see how the early reviews are.
It's about students traveling to the underworld.
Underworld? I gotta read it. Alright, Katabasis is without a doubt probably the most beautiful book I own. It is absolutely gorgeous, and just like holding it in general is a beautiful, beautiful experience. It's so hard and nice, and I love this book physically. It is a phenomenal book. It has some of the greatest subject matter that should appeal directly to me in terms of going to the underworld, exploring hell. It includes the 7 deadly sins and its academia. I spent way too much time in school. The idea of a book that combines all these things should appeal directly to me. And yet it did not work. I didn't dislike this book. I enjoyed it, but I always felt like something was missing. Thankfully, I enjoyed it a lot more than Babel. I adored Addicted. Consumed in like one sitting the first half of Babel, and I loved it. The academia focus, the footnotes in it, the character work, all of it was absolutely brilliant. But then it fell apart in the end for me as the characters turned into more mouthpieces for the themes to be exposition dumped to you. Don't miss this theme. I didn't feel like we had characters anymore. We had people preaching to us on what the message of the book was. Thankfully, Katabasis does not do that. They remained fleshed out, wonderful characters from start to finish. I enjoyed every element of the character work. My favorite part being the main character, her internalized misogyny that was hammered in a little bit hard, but in a way that made sense for the character. But then her realizing how that came across in an academia section, how she benefited from it and was punished because of this in an academic setting. So that was all well done. It's just like something was missing from the plot. We start off strong. It's not like I was worried we'd spend half the book just like in our world and only a small amount in hell. No, we are the entire time in the underworld. From page 1, she's putting the pentagram in place. Like, all right, I got everything in place. Let's go to hell. And it works so well initially. But then it's like we want to focus more on the academia, more on the burnout, more on the grad students' need for approval and how they will sacrifice their own best interest to get ahead, to get what they need, to get their dissertation, to get on the professor's good side, to be acknowledged, to be published. It all works very strongly and kind of goes back to my post-grad work, but I feel like that is great, but I'm here for hell. I want to explore the courts. They have these setups for like, what does it mean to be good? Or I even forget what the question was that the people in hell are writing papers on, trying to find the answer to, and are always rejected. And it's never explored. I initially thought it was just going to be, oh, she's going to get praised for helping this one person who's having a crash out, but it's never really brought up again. The answer to how you pass through these courts is never given, which I'm fine with. I didn't expect a straight answer to be presented and spoon-fed to the audience, and there were some moments where I think, okay, this is when she passed that court, but I would have liked them to attempt. Whether or not they knew they already passed, because we don't know. And they didn't need to. They didn't have transcripts because they're not dead. They're just walking through hell. But I wanted them to try to pass each court of hell rather than it just be, all right, professor's not here, let's go to the next one, walk on out, ignoring all the suffering behind you. I don't know. It felt a little meandery. I like a straightforward narrative where we get from point A to point B. We have a ticking clock in terms of the professor is here, we have to find him before he reincarnates, and it made perfect sense to me that a bunch of grad school people who's like, if we get this professor's recommendation, we will be on a 10-year path. We will have all these job opportunities open to us in a very competitive field. So yeah, it makes sense to me that people would go to hell for someone they hate because we need your recommendation letter. We need to be published with you. This is our way to succeed in this field. Makes perfect sense. But like, I wanted something from hell. Something was missing. I feel like if I was more versed in the classics on the different heroes' journey and Paths Through Hell in the Past, which were all referenced, and I will definitely be taking reading recommendations for other journeys and stories involving the underworld. There was no real threat. They had a purpose, they got to it, there was no agency, they just explored hell and left. And in modern day reading, I feel like something is missing, but I don't really know what it is. I definitely thought I'd be further in my Dresden Files reread at this point, so I'm going to have to start reading more of these and stop getting distracted by new shiny things. But Death Mask, I read this. Of course, it was phenomenal. It's my second time reading it. It's even better the second time around. Harry Blackstone Copperfield Dresden is caught up in someone else's mess. There's the Shroud of Turin, the one that was laid over Jesus, and whether or not it's real or not, people believe in it, therefore it has powers. We are introduced to the most terrifying villain the Dresden File has ever known. Marcone is in this. If Marcone's in a book for even a single page, I'm gonna love it. We explore the world, we explore the characters, and it is phenomenal. I love the Dresden Files. I will finish my reread before, what's it, like January 20th or something like that? The next Dresden Files book is coming out incredibly soon. I already told my boss that I'm taking the day off work whenever it is announced, and she laughed at me. And come to find out, it's on a day that I already have off. And I have Monday and Tuesdays off. I never get a long weekend because a long weekend is always a Monday holiday. So I always miss them. And the one time I'm like, oh, I'm going to get a long weekend out of this or an extra day off throughout the week because I'm taking the day off to read the Dresden Files. It's like on a Monday or a Tuesday. I think it's a Tuesday. Ridiculous. The Buffalo Hunter was definitely one I was excited for. Stephen Graham Jones has never been a writer that I have connected with as much as other people. The Only Good Indians being the biggest exception. I really liked that one. I love the atmosphere. I love the horror. I love the suspense of it. I love the culture. There were moments in the pacing and events that were happening that weren't exactly for me, but that one has been my favorite, and I've been chasing that high from him ever since. There's always something unique about his writing, and I love it, but something about it always holds me back, and that was the case of the Buffalo Hunter, or the Buffalo Hunter. The idea of him telling a vampire story is phenomenal. It was just the framing that didn't work for me. We're told a story about another graduate student, PhD candidate, maybe. She's going for tenure. She wants a tenure job. She's a professor, something like that. Very minimal modern day section. She is reading the diary of her ancestor from 100 years ago or so, transcribed later from a story accounted even further back, and it's just like a game of telephone. So, a Blackfeet Indian named Goodstab was telling a story to her ancestor who was a priest, and he's telling a story about how he became a vampire in his culture and his people who wronged him and how he harmed others. And it's got the cycle of violence, it's got colonialization, it's got hatred, it's got love, it's got regret, it's got themes of identity, and it's all fantastic themes. And clearly it's Stephen Graham Jones. Of course it's well written, but that happened in the past, to which he is telling a confession of sorts to this priest who has his own history, and then all that's transcribed by the priest to be read by his ancestor later on. And it's that framework that doesn't work for me. I want to be immersed in the moment. And while a lot of it is presented as if we are in the moment, my brain knows it's not. I know this is someone reading a story and a description, and it just doesn't connect. I lost the connection for that framework. I loved everything in the modern day. There was like in 2 snippets in the beginning and end that I adored. I loved the use of cats. I loved everything about the book. Just how it was presented didn't click for me. I started the web novel of Lord of Mysteries, and by God, I'm hating it so much. This is the worst written thing I've ever read. I know the story is going to be amazing. I like the characters, I like the magic system, I like the world, but by God, the writing is testing me. This is the worst thing I've ever read. I grew up on fan fiction. I can tolerate bad writing. I really, really, really can, but this is hard. I am 55 chapters in. We are not out of the exposition dump phase. Everything is still being spoon-fed on how the magic works and everything here. We have a character who's been isekai'd into another world as he is learning how to control these powers that he's got, as he becomes a beyonder, how he needs to take these potions and act in a way to suit the potion's need to get even more powers, and then there are cults and demons, and we actually haven't got to those yet. I know most of it from the anime. Dongma, whatever. The writing is testing me. I know people love this. Everyone is so passionate about it. I feel the passion from the fans. They love this story. They love this magic system. They love these characters. I feel that passion. I will get to it. I have been told I need to struggle through the first couple hundred chapters, and I'm willing to do so because I was told there were pirates in the future. And this Lovecraftian horror of it is phenomenal. So I will not let a juvenile writing and terrible translation, most likely, stop me from experiencing this story. I wish I could tell you what the themes were or anything else, because I'm not really sure. Not much has happened in 55 chapters. The main character Klein is not a very active protagonist. A lot of stuff is acting to him because of something someone else did, and he's just responding very well to all these situations, but then each chapter, it kind of wraps up in that single chapter with only a very minimal bit being something that's going to have to follow throughout the series, and I hate a reactive character. I want someone driving the narrative, but he's just trying to figure everything out, and he's responding to the events that are acting upon him rather than him driving the narrative, and that's never something I enjoy. But this thing is like over 1,000 chapters long. Eventually, he's going to have to take charge, drive the thing through, because he's very good at taking advantage of things. So eventually he'll take advantage of everything else. I don't know. I don't know what I'm saying. I want to love this, and I will, I'm sure, just not yet. Maybe 200 chapters in. We will see. I'm only 55 chapters into a 1,000+ chapter story. Something in the Walls is the worst thing I'm going to have read this year. I despise this. It took me a good 2-3 weeks to read the last 10% of it because I just wanted to stop. I'm going to say I skimmed the ending because 3 times speed audiobook was not fast enough to get through this. It started off fine. It started off like mediocre, average, simple. I've seen positive reviews all over Instagram, and this is the last time I take an Instagram recommendation. Why I thought this would be a good idea, I don't know. I have Instagram for tattoos and stuff, and occasionally some book stuff crosses my feed. I am so upset. So I waited for this to come in from my library. I was so excited when it did. I time-lapsed it, and then I had to thankfully find it on Scrib. But regardless, so we had a story about a woman who was dealing with the grief and loss of her brother as a child, chronic conditions and stuff like that. We have the search for answers, wanting to know if there's something in the afterlife. She is grieving. She's still in, I guess it's like grief counseling. Or was it Alcoholics Anonymous? Might have been both. And she meets this other character who is a father that lost his own child, and they both want to search for, is there an afterlife? Is someone reaching out from beyond the grave? And then they hear about this girl who's being classically haunted, and she's saying someone's living in the walls, and there's a witch, and it's an isolated town, small town horror, cult vibes. I can't go into too much, but it started out fine. Absolutely fine, solid premise. The first half to 60-70%, solid 3 stars, nothing amazing. I'm enjoying myself. Then the last bit happens, and we're like, did she time travel back to the Pilgrim times? Characters do a complete swap of entire personalities and motives. Sure, you could argue it was set up and foreshadowed. Doesn't mean it was good or made any sense. They all just went a little crazy. She ends up jumping out of a window instead of, I don't know, walking out and just being like, touch me, I'm calling the cops. This is modern day. You can't hold me here against my will. Was fine being tortured instead of, I don't know, leaving. Why couldn't she leave? He's an old man. There's an old man blocking her way at one point, and she's like, oh, I can't go this way. I can't do this. I'm trying not to give too many spoilers here. I'm just shove him. Leave. I hate it. I hate it so much. Everyone just loses their mind by the end. We lose all sense of themes, plot threads, ideas. It becomes a completely different book. I hated it. I hated it so much. Wish I didn't even finish it. When it comes to anime, I am currently watching Cowboy Bebop. I'm having a mostly wonderful time. I'm enjoying the vibe of it. I'm only, I think, 7 episodes in. Yeah, 7 episodes. And it is a lot more episodic than I would overly like. There's the hint of plot lines and themes and character work that will be popping up throughout it, and I hope we follow those plot lines. hopefully soon. I thought we were going to on like episode 4 or 5, whatever it was, but turns out no, we are not. Spike is a character that I'm feeling he's trying too hard to be cool. There are moments where he comes off as lame and idiotic and just a clownish character, just moments of it. But then other times when he's just like, I'm too cool. He doesn't feel like he's too cool for this. The writer thinks he's too cool for this, and it's not meshing well for me. I will see how I feel about him by the end. I do not like really any character in here that much. The guy with the robot arm, his partner, I like him the most probably, just because he's a lot very practical. They're bounty hunters, and he's like, we're doing this way. Spike, don't go get in trouble. Oh God, he got in trouble. I'm not bailing you out. I better go bail him out. So I like him. There's a dog. It's a corgi. He's adorable. We could do more with the dog. Not really sure why the dog's on the ship, other than cute dog. They took him in. I'm fine with that. I liked Black Lagoon a lot better. So I've only seen season 1. I'm going to watch season 2 very shortly. But something about the vibes work better for me. The characters work better for me. It's still a bounty hunter kind of situation. Mercenaries for hire. And I think that this trio, their personalities work a lot better. They play off each other. They're more dynamic. I'm having a lot more fun with Black Lagoon than I am Cowboy Bebop, which I was not expecting. I don't dislike Cowboy Bebop. I was excited for cowboys in space. I like Firefly. Maybe I just think that this is too much. No, it's not too much like Firefly. Firefly is the superior show, obviously. But I like the vibes of both. I'm going to see what happens when I finish the series for both. And otherwise, it was just finishing off Lord of Mysteries that I finished off with anime. I have to finish Code Geass Season 2 once I finish with Cowboy Bebop and Black Lagoon. And that is really all I've been getting up to this month. My parents are visiting, so I haven't had much time to myself to read any manga, really. I am at what chapter of Vinland Saga? Chapter 42. So I'm at 42 of Vinland Saga. I'm, of course, caught up with One Piece. I still haven't started my Chainsaw Man reread. I still haven't started reading Nana. So many things I said I need to do by the end of the year, and I'm running out of time. That's all I got. Talk to you later.